Tyrese Halliburton.
No, you do. I mean, I just think I've been around the game a long time. For the guy to handle the basketball for 38 minutes, to have the numbers he had and the pressure to have no turnovers. Now, the numbers are phenomenal. We've seen these numbers, but 44 assists in this series to 6 turnovers. To me, GA, I mean, these are unreal numbers not to turn the basketball over, especially the chances he take. And then for him not to be a scorer, but he is a scorer. And the rebound of basketball, this is one of the best floor games I've seen in a long time.
You know, the other thing about him is, you know, we talk a lot. You hear the term about making your teammates better. He really epitomizes that. And it's not always the flashy assist. It's his willingness to empower his teammates, you know. And there's a reason why they play with such energy, because they know if they're open, they're going to get it. So it makes you run the floor, you defend at a higher level. He's an impressive player. He really is. And he is the engine that gets this car to go. But I would also, we got to give a shout out to Pascal Siakam because, you know, he's one of the most underrated players in the league, if you really think about it. I mean, he's a 20-point scorer, but you don't really ever hear about him. And he was terrific tonight. You know, he had 30 points, couple assists, 5 rebounds. And remember, he had to transition and play a lot of minutes on Cat at the 5 position. And, man, what a luxury to have a guy that can score and impact the game as efficiently as he does. And you really don't run a lot for him. A lot of his touches come because he runs the floor. You know, he gets those early post opportunities. He's able to seal, create space. You know, he can have matchups. You're going to need possessions where you need a guy that can beat a great defender. He can do that as well. So it was a terrific all-around performance, obviously, for Tyrese. But Pascal Siakam deserves a lot of kudos as well. He had a terrific game and a must-win game in a lot of ways for the Pacers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Aaron Nesmith playing maybe on that bum ankle, you know, 16 points for him. Miles Turner had 13. But Ben Mathurin was a guy you talked about pregame. 20 points off the bench in just 12 minutes.
Well, he's a born scorer. He's been that since high school. He's been that since in college, called his college games, and he has a swag about him on that side of the court where he can flat out score the basketball. He's gotten better defensively, but here's one of these guys that could be easy 6th man of the year if he gets a chance to play because of his ability to score. And he plays like with the confidence, I'm the best player on the floor at times. Sometimes hurt him with Rick Carlisle, but overall, he hadn't played well in so long. I just knew he was due for a game. And he came out, not only had a game, but it's 20 points in 13 minutes, basically, 12 and a half minutes. But he got to the free throw line, which is huge. 11 times in those 13 minutes, he went 10 for 11.
It's incredible. On the New York side of things, what went wrong?
Well, I think they got caught up trying to play fast. And indicative with the score, 130 points you give up, and they score 121. But the issue was when you play the Pacers game, it's hard to beat a team doing what they do better than you do. And while they score 121, 17 turnovers. They gave up 20 points off that, so they were minus 11 in points off turnovers. And so that's directly attributed, I think, to the style of the game. They played a really fast game. Yeah, they can score and they can put points up, but they're not going to do it to the level of efficiency that you saw with this Pacers team. Pacers only had 11 turnovers and only gave up 9 points off those turnovers because they played their game. They dictated tempo, and I just thought because the Knicks were making shots early, sometimes it works against you because now you think, okay, we're gonna have it going tonight, and then you get caught up playing to the tempo that the Pacers like to play, especially on the road, and I think that worked against them, and it's just hard to overcome those turnovers and the points off. Indiana is as good as anybody at taking your mistakes and turning them into points, and they did that tonight.
It was interesting, Stan and Reggie were talking about this late in the game when the Knicks made that run, and then there were 3 straight shots from Mikal Bridges, which they kind of questioned a little bit too. Why is the ball not going to Brunson? Why is it not going to Towns?
Well, you know, you give Mikal Bridges a lot of credit. He defends, and he's a guy that can make shots. I mean, I just think I don't have a problem taking shots. It's just the way he's falling out of bounds, and I think with his size, me and Jay was talking about it, he just got a better quality possession. Everybody said quality, better shot. When you're 6'7", you can always get a shot, especially with guys running at you. I just think to GA's point, the pace of play, and the analytics will love this. I bet they had 100 less dribbles than the Knicks. Yeah. They play without dribbling. And it's hard to defend somebody that's not going to dribble it. And I think the one thing is, GA can attest to this, if there's a guys that dribble, I'm on that weak side, I feel like I got enough time to be able to get back in position and be good. But if it's a team that's snapping it around, you always on your toes trying to get in position. But when you dribble a lot, it's easy for me to load up on the weak side and you skip it. I got time. But when that ball is hopping and guys are cutting, you know, communication, me and GA, I can't even talk to GA. I'm like, GA, you got mine? Because I'm running this way. And I think that's what Indiana Pacers offense, they confuse you because they don't dribble a lot.
Yeah, I think you hit a great point. Like, it's so much easier to guard the ball. Like, Smitty and I were talking during the game, and he said something, and people take this run. It's like, I'd rather guard Michael Jordan than Reggie Miller. And the reason he's saying it, because Reggie's going to run all over the floor. So most of your defense is going to be when he doesn't even have the ball. And that's, as a defensive player, that's when it's hard. And that's what happens to the Knicks. When you play that fast the way the Pacers do, you're going to get cross-matched a ton. And then when the ball's popping like that, you're going to have breakdowns. And that's why if you look at shot quality, the Pacers' shot quality was much better. When they made that run, it was because they were getting to the free throw line, and that took away the Pacers' transition game. That forced the Pacers to have to play set offense, and that's where you have a chance defensively to kind of lock in. But if that game is played up and down, and it starts with Halliburton. What he does, he also gets, they're not just hockey assists, but he makes passes that put you in rotation. It's the equivalent of having a great offensive player that you got to double. You don't even double him, but he makes passes that get you in rotation. It's such an advantage because they've got a lot of guys that if you give them an advantage where they catch it and you got a defender running at them, they're going to be much more difficult to guard. And he does that better than I think anybody in the NBA. It's a unique talent that he has, and it's on display night in and night out. And the thing about it is there really is no defense for that. Like, you know, it's not like you can lock into him because he moves it. He doesn't wait to see if he's got something. He's determined in his mind what's available. And his first pass, if you go watch them play, the first pass he makes, he puts you in rotation. That is an extremely rare gift. You don't see a lot of guys with the ability to do that. He does it consistently, and then it becomes contagious. And they feed off of that as a team.
It's Jay Kidd-like.
It is. It really is.
Jay Kidd-like with the New Jersey Nets.
He like Jay Kidd with a jump shot.
You know, you guys obviously both played the position. I mean, just want to go back to the turnover thing because throughout the season, you could get away with maybe getting 0 turnovers if you're playing different teams. But in a 7-game series, when teams are making those adjustments, right, on you, I mean, just how difficult is it and how rare is it to...
Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách làm một sợi thun cột tóc đơn giản từ len nhé. Nguyên liệu của mình đây, mình sẽ sử dụng 3 màu sắc như thế này để làm này. Màu trắng, màu tím và màu xanh nhé. Sẽ kết hợp 3 màu sắc này lại với nhau nha mọi người. Và các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình một cái phần thun như thế này để mình cho vào bên trong lõi của cái sợi thun, tạo cái độ co giãn nhé. Nếu mà không có thun này thì mình sẽ không làm được cái sợi thun cột tóc đâu. Tại vì là cái len này thì cái độ co giãn của nó gần như là không có đâu. Nếu mà chỉ làm bằng len không thì sẽ không cột được tóc nha. Mình dùng cái mẫu len để làm nha mọi người. Và sử dụng kéo để cắt những cái phần len thừa. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ bắt tay vào làm nhé. Đầu tiên thì mình sẽ sử dụng cái phần len màu tím trước nha mọi người. Đây. Mình sẽ gỡ len ra để rồi. Sẽ sử dụng cái phần len tím trước. Bây giờ sẽ móc nó vào cái sợi thun nhé. Mình móc cái phần len này vào sợi thun. Đây, mình móc vào đây. Đây, móc vào. Sử dụng những cái mũi nửa kép để làm nhé. Đây. Cứ luân phiên từng mũi một nhé. Móc cho nó bám sát vào phần thun. Tiếp nha mọi người. Tiếp tục. Đấy, mọi người sẽ móc những cái mũi như thế này cho mình, những mũi nửa kép này. Móc vòng quanh, móc vòng quanh. Tiếp tục những mũi nữa nha mọi người. Rồi, móc tiếp nữa, cứ lần lượt cho mình. Đấy, móc tiếp. Đấy, mình sẽ móc lần lượt như thế này nhé. Tiếp nha mọi người. Rồi. Móc tiếp những mũi nữa vào. Làm luân phiên cho đến hết nha. Mũi tiếp theo. Đấy, mọi người cứ làm luân phiên cho mình. Đấy, móc như này vào là được nhé. Tiếp nha mọi người. Bây giờ mình sẽ móc nốt cái phần bên này. Cũng y như vậy. Đây mình sẽ tiến hành móc. Những mũi tiếp theo. Vẫn sử dụng những cái mũi nửa kép nha. Mũi nửa kép. Móc tiếp vào. Đấy, cứ luân phiên từng mũi cho mình. Tiếp nhé, móc vòng quanh. Mình sẽ móc vòng quanh cho đến hết. Tiếp tục nha mọi người. Mũi nữa này. Mũi tiếp theo.